Are you tired of wasting time on entertainment that doesn't bring you a sense of community? Do you feel like people are trying to force you to take a side in this silly culture war? Does your media have you feeling too conservative, too woke, too religious, too heathenous, not enough whatever, like a freak? That's because you're not a caricature. You're a real person. You're messy, and you don't fit into a box. Good news, we're freaks too.
Would you like to melt your stress away? Get connected to a community of other misfits? Maybe listen to the misfits? Stop feeling like a lonely outsider surrounded by people trying to enlist you in a war you want no part of. Become a contented member of a community that requires only that you live your best life and leave others to live theirs.
Feel a sense of belonging while opting out of the culture war. This is Peace Freaks. How is everybody doing? Welcome to yet another episode of Peace Freaks. I'm Nick B here, as always, with my lovely wife and co-host, Lizzie.
Hello.
You doing all right there, babe?
Heck yeah, I am.
Did you enjoy this Father's Day?
I did indeed. I mean, I should be asking you, I guess. You're the father.
Didn't do shit. That's what I like to do.
Okay, well, good then.
So, we are here with episode number, drumroll please, 100.
Ta-da!
Now, for those of you who followed us all the way from back in the beginning, from the true episode number 1, before the renumbering, I think it's actually like episode 140 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But not including the before time.
Yeah, that's including the before time. But for right now, this is episode 100, and we're enjoying the fruits of our growing stuff in the backyard labors, I guess.
Yes, indeed.
Watching plants come up is turning out to be a bit of an adventure. I'm excited about it. I get to go, look what Liz did.
You helped.
I made an attachment to the watering stick that makes it work better.
And you made our awesome net house thingy that keeps like the bajillion squirrels from consuming everything before we can even see it. So
That's true. I did do that.
yes, you did.
I just don't think about all the things I've done all the time, Liz.
I know. You just get awesome seeping out of your pores. You can't keep up with all the awesome stuff you do.
I mean, it is difficult being this humble
Right.
and so awesome. We've been enjoying some salads lately. It's something that's new on the docket.
Yes, which is cool.
We're always on the path of making me not be such a fat fuck. Sometimes it works better than others.
I mean, just pursuing health in general, but yeah.
You think it's pursuit of health, or is it a pursuit of vanity?
I mean, that's the way I try to look at it, is as pursuit of health, because,
She wants me to be healthy. I just want to look halfway decent fucking her. I want people to look at me and go, "Oh, well, I mean, I bet he hits that," and I'd be like, "I bet that's her retarded cousin."
That's awkward.
Kind of assume that's how it works.
Mm.
It would be nice to be able to go out and pick up people together and be like, "Oh, we can have some fun with that."
Sure.
But we can't do that if I'm holding the group down, the weakest link. I don't want to have to just watch.
Well, yeah, I would prefer that was optional, I suppose, in that situation.
So we have a fun episode coming up here, which hopefully will be a regular guest. I really like talking to this guy. So he's one of us. One of us.
Yeah.
One of us. And not in the creepy way that they make you believe that shit now.
Right.
With the couve going around.
For the love of Pete.
Apparently it's still out there. Apparently it's coming back with a vengeance.
Well, that is probably.
China just slammed the brakes, doing their whole thing.
Yeah. It's a wild world, people.
It's something. We have author Ryan Bunting on today.
Yes. I'm always excited to have an author on.
You are your book person.
I am.
I told him he needs to get an audiobook, otherwise I probably won't listen to it.
Yeah.
And then I offered to record the audiobook for him.
You did, right on the show.
I tend to do that, so... Are you enjoying your mic that you're not looking at, creating a whole lot of proximity effect, Liz?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I am.
See, folks, she's a super nice person, but she's a little on the passive-aggressive side, and so her only real way to get back at me is to force me to have to deal with more editing in the podcast world.
I feel like that's not how that happens, but...
You mean you don't just sit there and come up with ways to make editing more of a pain in the ass for me?
No, I just go squirrel, and then I start looking in other directions.
You just did it again, number one. And you're indoors, Liz. There are no squirrels in our house.
Well, you know what I mean.
Irma found that snake that one time, but
yeah,
no squirrels.
Yeah.
So I don't know what squirrels you're seeing.
Okay, fair enough.
You're not even tall enough to see out of any of your windows.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
You do. So, all right, folks. Well, we're going to get right into this interview here. We'll see you on the other side.
Didn't realize I traveled that far. Put on my coat at the doorway, hunt down my ride, see how much I spend. Wish I was coming just being lame, walking the ride, doing
right, so we're here today with Mr. Murderbeam. Is that what you go by?
Yeah, that's like my Twitch and Twitter handle because I speedrun Super Metroid, and it's just a little reference to the game. Yeah, so I'm kind of all over the place.
What's the book actually going to be attributed to? What's your author name?
I use just my regular legal name. They can come find me.
So Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, good to know. You've been on my radar a while as a person, because I think you sent me an email like fucking 2 or 3 years ago or something when you first started getting into things.
Yeah.
Which coincidentally, I don't know if you realize, is when I started getting into things also. I probably wasn't into this much longer than you were.
Yeah.
I just had the gear around to start podcasting immediately when I got into something new.
Mm-hmm. Benefits of being a musician.
Right.
Yes, and that was exactly it. So I saw the other day though, like that you're reading a book, and I saw Liberty and Sci-Fi book, and I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then I heard you the other day on a podcast, and you mentioned the fucking Expanse, and I'm like, well, fuck yeah, again, because that's literally like I literally host a bonus show about the Expanse. So,
And I've been listening to it for about 2 weeks now.
Oh, nice.
nice. I just finished or put episode 12 up on our SoundCloud. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how the hell you found your way to this little neck of the woods where we're all going to be pushed into gulags soon?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I kind of have that same generic background that a lot of people have, where it's just like I was massively politically ignorant, and I was just like, I'm a centrist because I'm socially liberal and, fiscally conservative.
All right, Tim Pool.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I was going to a friend of mine's barbecue. She has like a Memorial Day barbecue every year, and a mutual friend of hers I'd interacted with on Facebook, and he kind of called us out. My wife had commented on it. She was like, hashtag not all centrists. And when we got there, he was like, I will bet hundreds of dollars that you guys are more libertarian than you think. And he basically gave us a quiz that amounted to kind of like a political compass test.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he was like, yeah, I'll take your $200 now. And I was like, damn, I just got completely schooled. And at that moment, I mean, I immediately dug in because all I had known of, quote, libertarians was what I was told by like the bipartisan nonsense, which is just like, they're just fringe lunatics and all this stuff. And then I'm just like reading about
So it wasn't entirely disaccurate anyways.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, look, I'm a self-described fringe lunatic, born and raised in South Jersey. It takes a toll on people.
Oh, there you go.
You don't look like I expect South Jersey to look, though, just so we're clear.
Oh, I am an outlier. It's why I'm moving soon. I'm what's referred to as an externality.
When I think of South Jersey, I think of like my cousins, and you look decidedly more like, I don't know, Richard Spencer and, the chicken guy, Colonel Sanders kind of got together and had a baby.
Yeah.
Are you seeing this, Liz? Is that how you describe him?
I'm not entirely sure who anyone in there was other than Colonel Sanders. So,
and you know what I need to add to that? Like, so we'll say Colonel Sanders, Richard Spencer, and fucking the bad guy from The Fifth Element.
He is rocking like that particular look a little bit.
Oh yeah, Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zord.
But I love that movie.
I love The Fifth Element. It's one of my favorite films.
It's a freaking great flick. So
you're missing the plastic on the one side of your head, though.
Yeah, I just need like the blue plastic cover over here.
Who is that? That's the Batman.
That's Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, back when he was taking all of those crazy ass roles,
and he just killed them all. Like,
oh, he did.
Did you see him in Leon the Professional? Oh my god.
Oh my god, another one of my favorite movies.
Incredible villain. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's completely unglued in that role. It's awesome.
Yeah, but the best role by Gary Oldman is one of the greatest movies of all time as far as I'm concerned. And I think that even has its like connections to Jersey. It's fucking what the hell is it there? It stars Christian Slater. I always talk about it.
Oh, Broken Arrow?
No, the one I had you watch the other day, Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken.
Oh, True Romance.
Yeah, True Romance.
And Gary Oldman's character in that movie is just absolutely hilarious. Where he plays like the dreadlocked out drug dealer.
Yeah,
like
the guy can act his ass off.
Oh yeah,
he is a chameleon of sorts. Like the fact that dude is Commissioner Gordon from the Batman movies is just wild. Because he's just so like boring, like an old. He's just so like I'm a gruff cop here, and then he goes over to like dreadlock drug dealer.
There you go.
Who said that?
Yep.
And then you throw dude from fucking Fifth Element in there, like, man, you just keep them guessing. I wonder what his life like knowing that guy. Like, is he like that in real life? He's just all of a sudden being different people.
He just switches characters on a whim. He's just like, all right, I'm gonna be crazy Gary now.
Like, how does his wife deal with that? You never, like, his kids, like, you never know which parent you're going to get. Is it the one who's going to try and play Hunger Games with you, or is it the one that's going to be understanding and let you off the hook? I don't know. So, continue your story. I'm sorry I interjected. I just felt I felt when the jokes are there, you got to take them, you know?
Look, I was just on Friends Against Government. That podcast is one giant derailment, and it's spectacular. I love it.
We had Carr on Free Market's Green Earth this past week, and I will say this. I don't think we've ever cursed so much in an episode. I was excited about that. Like, we swore a lot.
Look, I have over 10 years working with truck drivers. I work in warehousing and logistics, and I'm from New Jersey. So this will not be this will be a not safe for work episode.
There you go.
I stopped marking them as not safe for work. I don't know if that's pissed people off, but like, I feel like it helps the numbers to let them roll just you roll the dice. I'm not doing the work for you.
Like, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, for sure.
So your story and I guess how you became an author was pretty fascinating on there. At some point you were just a guy who apparently plays Metroid.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you just kind of found yourself being an author. How did that happen?
It was honestly bizarre. So I have generalized anxiety disorder where it's just like randomly my brain thinks that there's a threat and there isn't one. Been dealing with it for like 3 years, and it's, I accept it as part of my daily life. But, if it's before bedtime and I've worked the next day, I'm not dealing with it. So I took a half a Xanax, I went to sleep, and I had just the most killer dream in April of last year. And I was like, man, that's so good. I woke up at like 4:15 in the morning. I typed it rapidly into my phone. I was like, man, that's so good. Somebody should write a book about that. And then the months went by and I was like, all right, so somebody is me. I need to do it. Nobody else is going to do this for me.
So I thought we were writing sci-fi. Based on that, I'm expecting this is going to be gay porn now. Which genre are we doing here, bud?
That's how your dreams go.
DP only.
But continue.
There might be a smattering of cock and ball torture in there, but
it wouldn't be good sci-fi if there wasn't.
Yeah.
They know how to control a man.
Yeah, so I just I think it was like December, right? Yeah, right at the end of last year, start of this year. I just was like, I need to just do it, and I downloaded some software, slammed a couple drinks, and just started cranking out some words.
What kind of drinks?
I've really been on a soju kick. It's kind of like a Korean version of sake.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like it's more alcoholic than like beer and stuff, but slightly less alcoholic than vodka, so it doesn't give you as bad of a hangover, and you can drink more of them, which is an obvious benefit.
I like getting the cultural education through liquor. I think that's always fun.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
He's like, I like getting the drunk from liquor myself.
Yeah, personally. But no, it is interesting to see where all these boozes come from and their little stories and stuff. I'm just a nerd like that. I love that dumb shit.
I used to work for a beer distributor, and it was a certain amount of enjoyment looking through our international section and going, oh, there's a lot of beers from other countries. This is fascinating.
Now, okay, this Metroid I keep hearing about, is this like Metroid like I used to play on the SNES or like some other?
Yes, yeah, Super Metroid. That's Ridley in the background on my wall, that curler. Yeah. I have the Metroid here.
That's
awesome. I have Samus. I have Ridley. I have the little screw attack thing. I don't know if you can see there.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I also have the statue from Turian. Let me see if I can get it on here.
He's showing us all the awesome Metroid tats. Since you guys
I have a half sleeve of Super Metroid related tattoos because it's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, man, I love it.
Could totally be Mega Man, and I'd probably be more interested. But whatever. To each their own.
I love Mega Man as well.
We had our good friend Luke Tatum on, who introduced me to a band that covers Mega Man.
Oh, which one? The mini bosses?
No, what the hell is I can't remember their name offhand right now, Liz. They're the song "Light Up the Night" that I love.
Yes, the Proto Men.
Yeah,
the Proto Men.
The Proto Men.
I saw them live actually.
Oh, nice.
There's a retro gaming convention that happens out in Pennsylvania, and I try to go to it every year. And I saw them. I saw Power Glove. I saw a couple of great like video game related bands out there.
Power Glove is certainly a funny fucking band. I'll give them that.
Yeah, their drummer looks like George Colias, and I called him out on it, and he did a bunch of blast beats.
Oh, that's awesome.
Little did he know that their drummer is George Colai.
He is a prolific son of a bitch. He's in like everything.
Right next to Josh Freese.
There you go.
We were talking to Liz the other day about Josh Freese. I'm like, so these are all the bands Josh Freese has been in, and it's just like the longest. Literally.
He gives Chino Moreno a run for his money for the number of sheer side projects he's in at any given moment.
Well, dude, I mean, even that, like, dude, he's been legit the drummer on everything from Kelly Clarkson to A Perfect Circle.
Yeah. I was actually just listening to APC before we got in this call.
And we were talking yesterday, and you're like, oh man, I got to listen to some Camel.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was listening to one of your recent episodes, and you mentioned the bassist of Camo, and I was like, man, I just want to hear that sweet groove and free fall. So I just listened to Mirage front to back.
We used to do one of their songs in my Prague tribute back in the day. Was it White Rider? We used to do White Rider, and
it's awesome.
It's a long fucking song. It was like 14. It was 14 minutes of I didn't need to be on stage is what that was.
It's like your bathroom break song right there.
I'd just find my way off stage and let the guys do what they were gonna do. I think there was only like 2 minutes of actual vocal in the song at any point, and like I didn't have any wizard robes to like do like some performance art shit, but you know.
yeah, do like some Peter Gabriel era Genesis shit up there.
Well, we did plenty of that too. I know what I like in your wardrobe.
You got your Moonlit Night outfit.
Hey everyone, Jake here, host of the Tasting Anarchy podcast. Join my co-host Mason and I each week as we explore the world of wine and alcohol through a Liberty lens. You can find us on all your major podcatchers, tastinganarchy.com, or Tasting Anarchy on Twitter. Tasting Anarchy, your wine and liberty podcast. Find out how much government is in your drink.
There's been some. Have you ever seen any of like the Genesis tribute acts that like do the Peter Gabriel stuff and like this? Like it's weird to see people who aren't Peter Gabriel like put on the outfits and stuff. You're like, I don't know,
not the same.
For some reason, it seems weird when like just not Peter Gabriel people do that shit.
It's because he did it because it was like his weird thing, and they're just doing it because he did it. Like,
yeah, that was his unabashed Gabrielness.
Yeah, it's just overflowing into fashion. I love it when that happens.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about this book that you had in a fever dream and then wrote in a drunken stupor?
I kind of followed like the Stephen King model for writing, just like get plastered and just see what happens.
Were you doing it coke fueled?
Nah,
because that's how you really do Stephen King right.
Yeah, the lockdown really put a hamper on accessibility to recreational substances.
There you go.
Like even the guys had it, they weren't coming over without masks, and I don't do masks.
Yeah, exactly. Even the coke dealers are scared of COVID, and it's like, come on, man, grow up.
You guys do hard drugs for a living, and you're afraid of this shit.
You're afraid of COVID? Come on, you are immune, dude. You survived 2 8-balls in a single evening. You'll be all right. But yeah, So the storyline in the dream actually took place in World War II, and I was like, that's been done before. And I was like, but I really like sci-fi, and I'm like, sci-fi's been done before too, but I like it better, and I think I would write it better, and I hope that comes out in the final product.
I'm pretty excited about a final product. Do you have the audiobook done yet?
No. but I have actually been looking into like what it'll cost to get somebody to narrate it.
Oh, there you
I mean, I don't know why you haven't just asked.
go.
Then we
He's
can
like,
talk.
I could
We can
narrate it."
negotiate a price, and
Is that what you're getting at?
I imagine I'd take carry on that, but whatever. You didn't ask.
Yeah.
So
Would you like to narrate an audiobook?
I've been trying to narrate audiobooks for a while.
Well,
It's a difficult market to get into.
let me get your foot in the door.
I mean,
We'll talk after the show.
technically, I've narrated a foreword to a book. I think I'm the narrator for the what do you call it? The introduction to Remzo Martinez's what is it? Stay Away from the Libertarians.
Oh, yeah.
The whatever the part that goes in the beginning of the book is.
Yeah,
Like
the front matter.
I basically read a letter that someone he used to work for wrote to him.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
No, it was fun. It took like 20 minutes to do the reading.
Yeah, this was probably a 4 to 6 hour read. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah,
It's a short book, man. I've been reading those Expanse books, and those are like fucking 30 hours.
yeah.
Not quite 30. They're usually right around 18 to 20. I think some of them are like 24.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that the book read and moved the way it did is because I actually just last night finished the last Witcher book, and
Oh, wow.
those have been hugely inspirational for the progression of the story, because like Sapkowski doesn't really dawdle. He doesn't hang around on things that he doesn't have to. It's not like reading Tolkien where it's just like you got to deal with like 4 chapters like describing what the fucking castle looks like. It's like, dude, I've seen a castle. I get it.
Liz is out. She's like, fuck this story.
No. I get it. I totally
Listen,
get it.
listen. I read Lord of the Rings. I enjoyed it. I just don't know if I could ever do it again, because it's just like, God
it is.
damn,
It's a marathon.
it is a slog. It's a good slog, but sometimes it's just like, oh my God, get on, like the Monty Python, get on with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't really linger on anything super long, and I tried to not like beat people over the head with the liberty themes. They're there, but first and foremost, I just wanted the book to be enjoyable.
But possibly like more story to come.
There is a possibility. I've thought about writing more in this same universe, and I'm already starting a second book.
Okay.
Completely different and separate, but it's the same world, just a different time and place. So there's going to be some little nods to things that happen in this one, in the second one.
That was always the best part about Stephen King, was just like the little tie-ins. Never necessarily even like big things, but you'd see like just a little moment of something from another.
A newspaper article that mentions Derry, Maine or something.
Yeah.
It's just like 2 sentences and it's thrown away and you're like, oh shit, that's Derry. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff, just those subtle little nods.
So you can be a nerd about it.
Exactly.
I liked in the Dark Tower books where he'd like give second life to characters that like had been in previous books. Like was it the priest from the fucking
The Stand.
well, no, I'm not thinking of The Stand. It was the priest from Salem's Lot, I think is what it was.
Mhm.
And like he kind of gets out of town after all the shit breaks loose and then finds himself, I think it's the Wolves of the Kala that he appears in. But it's just interesting, like those little tie-ins, or like there'll be an event that happens one way in one book and then like you see it from a different way in the things like in another universe that made that happen, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I love that stuff.
Me too.
I always appreciated like the fact that he walked such a fine line between like what the fuck genre he was actually in. Cause like, he'd get into some more sci-fi elements in the stories, and then, he'd have his like Louis L'Amour kind of moments. And then, was he writing fantasy? I don't know.
Especially with the Dark Tower. I mean, it's just like a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I think that's the cool thing about kind of the way that marketing is going now. Like you almost don't really have to put your book in like a specific genre as much as you used to, because like if people are into what you're doing, they're going to find you.
Yeah. And that was actually something I thought about. I was almost kind of concerned with like labeling it as like dystopian sci-fi, because people have like a very clear idea of what that means. And a lot of times dystopian sci-fi just ends up being really miserable, because it's like, I get it. It's dystopia. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But like, I made sure that there was a glimmer of hope throughout the whole thing, because there's like all those themes work into the liberty side of things, and there's lots of clear demonstrations of force and coercion, conscription, all of our favorite things to hate.
Right.
Well, and that's dude. That's why I love the fucking Expanse so much, is because like there's so many petri dish moments of seeing how things would work out in, say, a galactic vision of politics. I think they do it in a very honest way for the most part. Like it's not like they don't paint the UN as being the greatest thing in the world ever. There's a lot of bad that comes with that good.
Oh yeah, and like Christian Avasarala's character in general she's amazing, and I love her friggin' dresses. Like she just always looks spectacular. But like, they humanize her, which is important, because it's like she's not some person molded of a different clay that is fit to rule. She just happens to be in that position, and you see all of her humanity come out when she's like, torturing people with gravity, torturing the belters with gravity and stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Like they don't at any point try and pretend that human beings aren't human beings in those stories. And like they definitely, there's moral ambiguity in the way everyone acts. And like it's very incentives driven. Like people act the way that they would act given the incentives that are in front of them. So like for, someone who follows like the Austrian econ side of things, I mean, it's all right there for you if you're watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the series the actual TV series to catch up with the books, because like the books, like I've read all but the one that hasn't come out yet, and I think that comes out in October, and I'm pumped about it. But like, oh my god, it's such an honest look at things. And for those who don't watch the show, Kamina Drummer's really hot, so the more we can keep her in the story, the better.
And if you're looking for a libertarian analysis of the show, there's a pretty great podcast that's like doing a side thing of that right now that you can check out.
I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, and The Expanse was a huge influence, because when I started coming up with the characters, I mean, all of the characters are just archetypes of people I've met. All of them have a little bit of me in there.
What's so weird is that like when in today's world, like it's so easy to kind of pinpoint exactly what some people's political ideology is writing wise. I really don't know what those authors believe, because I do think they give an honest, fair shake to like the pros and cons of all sorts of politics.
Yeah, they do a really great job of that.
Like I'm not getting beaten over the head with, Orange Man bad.
Yeah.
In space.
Yeah.
And socialism is the greatest thing in the world. Well,
history would disagree, but
Well, and that's exactly, I mean, like, yes, humanity has bound together and the UN controls everything, and, some people are doing wonderful and we're out in space and we're doing great things. But then, there's the people on basic who can barely survive and live in the fucking ghettos, and like, so clearly they understand like not everything is all it's cracked up to be. Like people inherently are going to fall through the cracks, and in the best vision possible, like it is only possible when you ignore things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a good show. Lots of hot women. I appreciate that. lots of good looking ethnic women.
I suppose.
I think Naomi's pretty hot.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I love some of the fashion choices they do with her, like with the hair, the outfits. They're very like, okay, I know who this person is. I can dig it.
Yeah, Liz won't do any of her haircuts though. She refuses to shave the sides of her head.
I already like straight up shaved it off, but now I'm just trying to roll with it. So
yeah, whatever. 'Cause this is my United States or whatever.
Yeah.
How's it going? This is Nikki P, and I wanted to thank you for stopping by our neck of the woods. I sure hope you enjoy listening to Peace Freqs as much as we enjoy making it. Now, as much fun as it is right now, I know it can be a lot more fun, and the way to make it more fun is to grow that community. Unfortunately for us, growing anything organically on the internet is a thing of the past, and as much as I'd like to dump Irma's college fund into growing the show, that would make me a bad parent. So if you want to help create a bigger, more badass community, stop by upgradetheshow.com. We have monthly and yearly fiat options and one-time and yearly crypto options. But don't go thinking an upgraded community is all you're going to get. All patrons of the show get access to the Freedom Choir, chock full of bonus shows, and our Zoom link to watch our interviews live. So head over to upgradetheshow.com and help us upgrade this freaky little community.
So where do we go to find out more about this book? Are we
It's on Amazon.
okay?
You can go to my website. It's just ryanbunting.com, and you can find link to the book there. You will also be able to find a link to this podcast in the future. And it's $6.99 on audiobook, $14.99 paperback.
Awesome.
And if you want to get an honest to God's vision of what New Jersey and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania people are like, all the characters in there are from this area.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, because
I'm going to be honest. I know all too well what those people are like. And
yeah.
it wasn't exactly a selling point to me. Like the New Jersey people I'm curious about, but I know what Pennsylvania people are like. And they're the ones that gave us the Bloodhound Gang.
Yep.
So
Look, we produce Symphony X, and I think that makes up for a good bit of things.
Okay.
I joke. I love the Bloodhound Gang, especially the early stuff. Daddy Longlegs for life. Y'all mother bitches don't even know.
It's entertaining to say the least.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, their first record is criminally underrated. Granted, it's also more rap than any of their other albums were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were directly coming out of the gates trying to compete with the fucking, what do you call it? Man, it must be early in the day or some shit, because I can't remember anything for nothing. Beastie Boys.
Oh, Beastie Boys. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, they were the knuckleheads. Who wants the knuckleheads? We are the knuckleheads. So when you're not writing, like, what's life consist of for you?
Right now, working remotely, getting shouted at by Karens on the street.
Awkward.
Yeah, it's terrible because it's like they're yelling at me for walking not 6 feet away from my wife. It's like we've been living together since the lockdown started.
Yeah.
If either one of us is exposed, we're done. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Like, I always wonder how to take that. Does it mean like you don't think that we could be living together, and so you're just like assuming, or?
Yeah. Like, what are you suggesting?
I get it. I'm a fat piece of shit. She's way better looking than me, but I trust you. I fuck that. You guys joke, but like, you know how like that all that shit ended here in the U.S. Like they've been recently passing laws over in the U.K. that they're not even allowed to have sex with people they don't know.
That's absurd.
Weird.
Like you no longer in the UK can go on dates and then have sex with people that you've met. Like if you don't know them, like you're not allowed. But
George Orwell is turning in his grave.
Right.
He's like, I couldn't even come up with stuff in my fantasy world that's as bad as the shit that you're actually doing.
Oh, jeez.
It's pretty frustrating.
How would you even police that? Like,
yeah, that's a great question. How would you police that?
They're gonna come out with you're gonna need to get a coitus license,
right?
And
it's contact tracing. And the shit's already on our cell phones. Like if those cell phones are in the same apartment for more than 20 minutes, they're gonna know.
And we've been using the word contact tracing for like a few weeks now during the Rona, and it's like I feel like nobody else has noticed because I'm just like, have you spoken that out loud and just heard how fucking Orwellian it sounds? Contact tracing.
Yeah, no, it's been Orwellian since the first time I heard about it being used in fucking South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And it continues to be Orwellian now, but I can't do much about that, sadly.
Yeah, just like the people on my feed and social media are just like using it. It's like, do you think about what it implies, what it means?
But that's the thing, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't think about it. They don't put any thought into it because it's not. They did, we wouldn't be where we are.
Mm-hmm.
If they paid attention, they'd have looked at the numbers from the beginning and gone, "Oh, this doesn't seem like anything. Let's just maybe be smart and wash our hands, and not go and like hang out with our grandparents until we've got more information."
Yeah, like the at-risk people. The at-risk people can stay home and minimize contact.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. Most Americans weren't hanging out with their grandparents in the first place. Hence why it wasn't as bad here as other places. No, I've said this since the fucking beginning. If you look at a lot of the countries that it was really bad, and one of the things that they have in common is that they tend to have multi-generational dwellings, which we don't do in America. We ship those fucking old people off to homes as quick as we can.
And that's where majority of our deaths were here in New Jersey, because Murphy sent sick people back to their homes.
And where was the other place that it happened?
New York City.
Poor immigrant neighborhoods where they do have generational dwelling. So yeah, clearly we can see who this affects. That's what affects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been real fucking crazy watching all that shit. But that's like I said, if people paid attention, like I've been following the numbers. Like, you know, I listened to the propaganda report, and so they'd been following it for months before it ever became a thing here. I'd been following it right along with them. And the thing that like I tried to explain to people is like they made the curve seem crazy because the thing that they were doing was every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks you change how you're doing your calculations, and every 2 weeks you make it a little bit more inclusive, which is fine. I understand, you know, the whole better safe than sorry. The problem is that better safe than sorry that you keep adding on a graph looks exponential when it's not.
Yep.
You know, it's linear like anything else. And because of that, like, you know, it caused a fucking panic where like, look where we're at now. Like we're all under curfew, and what the fuck do we even do about that? Like a curfew like this would have been considered insane 2 months ago. But, you know, the next 2 months of lockdown, it doesn't seem like much. You know, it's just escalation upon escalation of like how they're treating people. So that's scary. Have you been listening to like all the Vin Armani episodes that he's been doing?
Yeah, I've been listening to him on Pete's show.
He was also just on Lions of Liberty this week too. I don't think he's come out on that episode yet. I think he was. I have it because I'm in the patron group. But it's basically the same shit he says on Mance. You know, he's just like waiting for all of us Americans to be corralled in gulags, and I'm like, maybe. I mean, I can't do anything about the financial place that I was in when all this shit went down. I've been working on getting better, but you know, can only get better at the rate I can get better.
Yeah, it's been really strange because like some of my favorite local restaurants are just like they've been closed, not even doing curbside. My gym is not reopening. They put out an email. They're like, we can't afford it. We ran the numbers. We can't do it. So we're done.
Yeah, no, that's rough. One of the things that I fucking had to deal with, or that I'm now dealing with, is with all this race bullshit. It's like there's some people with some fucking takes like through my my music business that's like, I don't know that I ever want to play your venue again based on the shit that you're saying, like virtue signaling right now. Like you clearly do not see eye to eye with me. Like I'm probably just gonna go and do my own thing now because what the fuck else is there? Yeah,
there's been a lot of that around here too. Not necessarily with the music scene, but just in general.
I mean, there is no music scene right now. Like up here, like it's been canceled for the foreseeable future, as far as I can tell. I mean, I know there are venues that just outright canceled for the 2020 season entirely. They're going to reevaluate when, I guess, the wintertime comes.
Yeah.
Not all places have done that, as far as I know, but I haven't gotten any calls to say, hey, we're going to start having music again either, because, oh, wait, nobody's going out and doing things because they're fucking terrified. You're not terrified of the virus, you're terrified of the fucking people freaking the fuck out.
Yep.
What are you terrified of?
That's a good question.
Irma's terrified of spiders.
I mean, he did just say he had generalized anxiety disorder.
Well, he says that, but I'm like, I mean, you know what that means, right? That literally just means that you realize that we're in the panopticon already and you have every reason to have generalized anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
You
basically.
Could just generalized anxiety disorder just sounds like he's observant.
Yeah.
Because it was right around when just like, you know, a few years ago when just everything was becoming more and more apparent. Like even back when I was a statist, I know, but it was just like, it was hard to ignore such obvious bullshit happening at any given moment. It's like, God damn, I don't know how we're going to make it out of this.
Well, I mean, on the positive, I don't think we do make it out of this. I think it's going to just die under its own weight or just become the crazy world that we all will do what we do in.
I mean, if you look at any other great civilization throughout history, they last about 300 years. The American Empire is approaching the 300-year mark. We're just in the death throes, you know?
Yeah.
Nero's out there watching it burn, playing his fiddle or whatever the fuck he did. And we're just here for the show.
I mean, I guess the thing that makes me, you know, a little more hopeful is that we are kind of finding each other. We are aware of what's going on. And so that gives me hope that we can kind of rebuild after the fact.
But you know, as a part of that process is they let us find each other so that we're easier to stamp out when they come for us.
Maybe.
I mean, all of our communication takes place on their networks.
I mean, that may be their aim for it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it's going to play out.
I've only ever met Ryan this one time and like through an email. Like, how the fuck do I know Ryan isn't a secret agent?
Yeah, I'm a fucking filthy fed.
That he's
totally come across as a fed.
And if he was any good at his fucking job, of course he would look like he's not a fed. That's the point. It's insane that I have to be so guarded, but
Well, either the federal government is good at, you're admitting that the government is good at something.
Right. Which sounds fishy.
Besides being terrible at everything.
Right.
Or
do you like your libertarian podcast host leather-clad on a motorcycle running from Nazis in black and white? I'm sure my friend Eric in no way resembles that at all, but his Rebel with a Cause podcast is guaranteed to bring you that same rebellious spirit, bringing in guests from all over the political wheel, bringing with it his own personal blend of irreverence and, dare I say it, down-home charm. So head on over to the Rebel with a Cause podcast and begin your own rebellion against bad podcasts.
Or I'm just a really good sleeper agent.
No, I'm just admitting that I'm terrible at seeing through the disguises because I have no frame of reference. They don't even have to be all that good at it because, like, what the fuck do I have to gauge against? They can be shitty at it, but because I've never had to deal with it before, like, I don't exactly have a dearth of knowledge to tell them they suck at it. I haven't lived through that many police states. Just the one I've been in since birth.
Yeah.
That I accept as normal. You seem real excited about that one, Liz. For me, the only thing I give a shit about is like it's kind of sucks to think about like what my kid's gonna have to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, if I did, like, yes, people lived through fucking World War II. Yes, there were gulags and all that shit, and it sucked. But I mean, the world did kind of continue on. But I mean, do I really want my kid to fucking live through all that either? That's like, I'm like, what kind of shitty person am I to bring a kid into all this? But she's here now. Nothing to be done about it.
I mean,
You do what you can.
I've done like a lot of soul searching lately, a lot of reading books, and you know they talk about like the Holocaust and kind of what, and you know the Gulag archipelago. I can't say that word now.
Archipelago.
What she's saying is she's been reading Jordan Peterson books.
Well, I have been reading that, but no, I've read like a ton of other books too, and just like you know, there are only. Eventually you come down to like the things that you can control, and you know in those situations the only thing that you can control is your own mind and how you choose to look at life. And like
I just think Douglas Adams.
You know, if that's all you got, that's all you got.
You can get all of your advanced feelings, Liz. All I care about is don't panic.
Yeah.
And don't forget to bring a towel.
Right.
God, I do love towels.
Because you're a hoopy fruit.
Well, you can block out the sun with them. They're wonderful.
Yeah, they're really handy.
Remember back in November, we're on the beach and I'm just like laying with a towel over my face.
Yeah,
it was wonderful.
God,
so
remember going places?
I know, right? And doing things. They're actually talking about reopening like the beaches out here, and I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Well, that's the most insane thing about this is that, frankly, for me, not much has changed. My life has not been one iota different.
He's like, I just lived in my basement before, and
I live in my basement now. Yeah, we're pretty much the same as always. I realize like it's changed a lot for other people that do things, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, mine didn't change super drastically. Like a lot of the work I do could have been done remotely anyway, but the IT side of what I do, like if somebody calls me and something breaks, I just run in and fix it.
So you're like an IT person for a logistics company essentially, or?
Yeah, I do IT, but I also am the vessel planner. So like when we get these big ass container ships in, I make sure that everything matches up with customs and all that kind of crap. Yeah.
That sounds
That'd
dangerous.
be useful.
It can be sometimes.
Where do you send all the sex toys?
No, they come in. They come in from China.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I grasp that. I buy a lot of them from China. So I'm just curious where that they all go to.
Various distribution centers around the country. We send some stuff over to Pennsylvania, some to New York, some to like Ohio, wherever.
Yeah, that was like I think one of the first things that I was concerned about with the with
With the lack of sex toy availability?
No, well, no, that was
Priorities, man. Priorities.
No, that was the second thing I was concerned about with like the couve. The first thing was that I like the ones that I had already ordered, were they going to get here and be tainted? That once we'd addressed that, I'm like, oh great, but that means like the supply line's disrupted. Like, where do we get new sex toys from?
That was another thing. Was like people were like, the supply lines are disrupted, and I was like, no, they aren't. I can assure you, they are doing just fine.
Well, my big thing wasn't that they were disrupted; it's that they would be disrupted. And like, I still not set on. I'm expecting that real damage to happen in like September. Like, I think
possible.
that because there's always backup in stores that people have in warehouses and shit like that. Like, that's basically how Amazon works: is warehouses all over the country where they just kind of keep shit. And yeah, the stuff's available because it's already fucking made. It's the stuff that you would be making, and so that doesn't like. There's a delay in when you realize like what's actually happened. And no, I don't have any reason to think September, but for some reason it's just the time period that sticks out in my head because it's like a couple months past. Like, that's when I would actually expect things to start becoming harder to find.
Yeah,
So
we
then you
mostly deal with produce and stuff like that, and that has all been moving pretty well.
For the most part. I mean, I at the farm level, it's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think there's also been a lot less need for produce, like with all the restaurants closed down. Like, it's one of the things like Monica Perez actually does get accurate is that you tend to overeat when you go to restaurants, and they have a lot of waste and stuff. So I think a lot of produce that otherwise wouldn't be getting shipped isn't. This is why they keep throwing it out on their fucking farms and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if we didn't have a centralized system that they had to fucking do all that, probably wouldn't happen that way. That's a different show. That's Free Market Green Earth, folks. You want to hear me talk about the environment?
Although I do kind of hope that people are, more interested in decentralizing like where they get their stuff these days. Like, this could be a wake up call, right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that I would never expect to ask to like pushing for privatization and decentralization of things. It's like, man, if these like mainline statists can start to see the value in it, maybe there is a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
And then I walk outside and I see the Karens in the neighborhood, and I'm like, no.
No, hope gone.
They still outnumber us.
Oh, geez.
Even in our best estimates.
Well, there's been a lot of, kind of government control sort of conversations going on too, and that's kind of hopeful.
So like with everything going down, like I know me and Liz have had the conversations of like if the music's not going to be there for me, which I don't intend it to be, honestly, there's no reason for us to fucking live in the city. Like that's the only reason we've done it thus far is because like there's gigs here, I can play shows. But if that's not something I'm going to be doing in the past, like I'm just assuming get the fuck out of the city. Have you guys made plans? Or you plan on hunkering down in where everyone else is?
We are moving out of New Jersey in a few weeks. Thank God.
Where are you moving to?
We're gonna be moving to Delaware so that we can still commute to work and all that kind of stuff. But
the most nondescript place in the world. I like that.
It's perfect.
It's the state that everyone forgets about.
Because it's just exactly. It's like nobody bothers anybody. Like you can live right next door to me and I won't have to say a word to you and you won't care and I won't care. It'll be wonderful.
That's awesome.
Sounds nice. You guys gonna be planting a garden or anything like that?
Absolutely. We're growing seedlings now and we're going to be planting a garden and, just doing what we do.
We got stuff growing in our backyard. I'm pretty excited about it.
Very nice.
It's got a big net.
Well, because like we're in the city, so the pest pressure is pretty epic. Like you talk to the local gardeners and they're all like, squirrels. You've got squirrels. I've got raccoons. I've got all of them. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's bonkers.
It's ridiculous. So anyways, it is about that time that I've got to get headed to work, which is going to suck.
This has been my lunch break and it's been a wonderful time.
Let's hope nobody gets shot today.
That is the hope.
It's a shame that we even have to be at that point.
Yeah.
People get thirsty. It's always worse around Christmas time, and I'm assuming that all this racial shit with civil unrest is probably not going to help things at all.
No, I imagine not.
Yeah. Maybe we'll move to Delaware. Gotta research that one now.
I was gonna say I think he should consider moving to Childeville.
There's no sales tax. The property taxes are super low.
What do you think the taxes are gonna be like in Childeville? They
have great gun laws.
It's nice. Well, that's always a plus.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anyone in Childeville turning anyone in for guns.
There is always Childeville.
There is always Childeville.
That seems like the thing that you get kicked out of Childeville for thinking.
Next year in Childeville.
Look, I don't know how quickly Jake can make this thing happen, but we're pushing.
There we go.
When it happens, I'm there.
So, all right, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on. Why don't you give us, once again, your information where people can find out more about your book and find out more about you?
Absolutely. And thank you for having me. Yeah, you can find me at just ryanbunting.com, Bunting. I write books, apparently. I stream on Twitch, and I also do some graphic design work. Like I designed the podcast artwork for Free Man Beyond the Wall. I do stuff for Twitch streams and all kinds of other stuff. So if you are a budding or existent podcaster, streamer, what have you, you can do that. And you can also read my rambling.
Nice. And we'll be in touch about a couple of things.
Sounds good to me.
I'm always needing of things that I don't want to do, because I don't want to do a lot of things.
I feel that. I'm trying to do the things I like to do so that I no longer have to do the things I don't like
I know,
go.
right?
Yeah.
All right, bud. Well, you have yourself a good day.
You guys do the same. Thank you so much again.
All right, babe. What do you think?
Well, I got to read this book now. That's what I think. I know I want a C.S. Lewis kick, but no.
He's been talking about it on like all the podcasts going around.
Yeah, no, I'm down. I'm totally into it.
I mean, it's sci-fi, so that's kind of what I get into.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be a book that we can both read and we can both talk to each other. There's not a lot of overlap in our reading lists. We actually have Goodreads reading lists, by the way, if you're on that app. There's not a ton of overlap. There's some, like Douglas Adams, but not a ton.
I mean, we both just come from different places, Liz.
It's true. I like it. I'm okay with it.
You come from the let's read religious books place, and
oh my God, I'm loving the C.S. Lewis right now. I can't even tell you.
that's super weird to me.
It is what it is.
You wrote those fucking Narnia books, right?
Yeah, and he's so Catholic, and I'm not really that Catholic, but I like the way his brain works, I think, is the thing.
Not so Catholic he didn't turn Jesus into a lion.
Yeah, but, Lion of Judah, it was a metaphor.
Is that what we're calling it nowadays? I thought we called it sacrilege back in my day.
I mean, if you're into the Inquisitions and the...
You think you can write the Bible better than God did? Sorry, folks. I'm just getting a little ludicrous there. I'm sorry. So we're deep in summer now.
It is. It's nice and hot.
This episode's gonna be so hard to edit because I have to do all my editing now with Liz in the room because we all are hunkered down in the basement where it's cool.
Because that's the cool part of the house. I do have earplugs, so you do what you need to do, baby.
I do, but you're just laying over there sleeping, and I'm all like, I can go put the kid on the couch upstairs, make things happen.
We could have a whole different night.
Could. You won't go to work. You'll be all tired and shit.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
And then we'll stop paying the bills.
Man, I know. When did we become like actual grown-ups? What the heck?
Well, I don't resemble that remark in any way.
Okay.
If you're a grown up, then we can roll with that.
Okay.
You seem close enough to it.
Fair enough.
So, anything else we need to kind of get out there?
Other than saying, check us out on all the socials, interact, give us comments.
We love the interaction. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It has been 100 fucking episodes.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Technically more, but still, that's a long time we've been doing this. It's almost 2 years in raw numbers of just since the Launchpad stuff.
Yeah, and there's people who have legit been listening that entire time, and you know who you are out there. We appreciate you. You're awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually, tell you what, if you have actually been listening since the beginning, message us on any of the platforms and I'll send you out like some old merch, like some more commemorative merch.
The merch.
For nothing.
Yeah,
It'll
there
be
you
fun
go.
for me. I'm kind of curious if anyone has actually been listening that long.
This entire time.
I mean, I may also call a local asylum just to say, hey, you should probably check on this person. I don't know what is going wrong in their life that they would choose to listen to us ramble.
They just appreciate our crazy. They've watched our entire journey and they're like, okay.
Is it that they appreciate it, or is it they know how bad they see how bad it can get, and that's what keeps them from going over the edge?
Maybe, or maybe they're just writing that doctoral thesis on it and we're their case study.
They know what true lunacy is. I've seen Into the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, God.
So anyways, folks, head on over to peacefreaks.com if you want to get the show notes and check out the stuff that we talk about in the show, or head over to upgradetheshow.com if you want to give us a few shillings and help us grow the show. I'd like to promote it. I'd like to get more people in this crazy little community we got developing here.
Show.
So without further ado, happy Father's Day week and stuff.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
That was awfully sexist of you.
Thanks, people? I was saying thanks, guys, in reference to the fathers.
What about all the single moms out there?
You're right. There's people. There's ladies out there holding it down. Thank you to all of you.
And you don't think that those dads deserve to keep it magical?
I thought you were gonna do your piece, and I was gonna say make it magical. Make it magical. Have a magical Father's Day.
Peace. This podcast is a proud creation of the Mad Audio Lab. For more information, check out madaudiolab.com. Peace Freqs is part of the Liberty Hippie Podcast Network. If you like what we do, be sure to check out Homesteads and Homeschools, Free Markets Green Earth, Cannabis Heals Me, and This Week in Liberpods. We're living proof that libertarian doesn't mean washed up Republican.